Salut les années 10, I hope you've had another good week. This week we're looking at la vie extrascolaire and our objectives are about using the imperfect tense. Don't worry if you don't know what that is just yet, you should recognise it, but we're going to look at it in today's lesson. And by looking at the imperfect tense we'll be able to talk about the difference between school in the past and school now. So our first activity today is a quiz, if my laptop will load. So could you please follow the link underneath this video or on your Go for Schools pack and complete this quiz. If the link isn't working for whatever reason, please contact Miss Price because I'm the one that set this quiz up, so the other teachers might not have access to this quiz at the moment. Great work. So we're going to have a look today at the imperfect tense. The title for this slide is à l'école primaire, which means at primary school. So we're going to be talking in the past for this lesson. We're going to be talking about what things used to be like. Now, you already know a verb in the imperfect tense, which is j'aimais, when you talk about what you used to like. And when we talk about the imperfect tense, it always involves that word used to. So it's I used to do, I used to go, I used to play. And in French, instead of using a word used to, you have this AIS ending when you're talking about the first person, when you're using I. So you'll notice this list of verbs on the screen now all end in AIS. That's because they are all talking about what something used to be like. Let's just have a look at how we can work out what these verbs mean then. So we know that AIS ending is telling us about that this is a used to verb. Let's have a look at the stem of these verbs. We're going to ignore those first two for now. Number 3 has got J-O-U, jou, as its stem. That comes from the verb jouer. You should know that jouer is to play. So if we've got the stem of the verb jouer with an AIS ending, we know that it's I used to play. Let's have a look at the next one. Chante comes from the verb chanter, which is to sing. It looks a little bit like the word chant. So this is going to mean I used to sing. Participe comes from the verb participer. So we know it's going to be I used to participate. Fait comes from the verb faire. And we know that the verb faire is to do, and therefore it's going to mean I used to do. Al comes from the verb aller, which is to go, so this is going to be I used to go. Now the first two are a little bit different because those verbs are irregular, they don't follow the same pattern as the other verbs. The first one comes from the verb avoir, which is to have, so it's I used to have. And the next one looks a little bit like the word c'était, which means it was, and this one is I was or I used to be. Now that you know how to recognise these verbs, what I'd like you to do is match up the verb to the rest of the sentence. Remember, you're looking in those sentences, you're looking for the key words that you can pick out and then work out what do I think the rest of this sentence is saying. Pause this now, have a go. If you need to look up a couple of words, not a problem, but try not to translate the whole sentences. Fantastic. Let's have a look then at the answers. Membre de l'équipe de basket. L'équipe is a team, so this person is talking about being part of a basketball team. It therefore matches up with number 2. J'étais, I was a member of the basketball team. Au spectacle de Noël. A spectacle is a show. In English, a spectacle is something that you watch, and a show in French is spectacle. So the answer to this one is je participais. I used to participate in the Christmas show. C, judo. Judo is a sport, but bearing in mind it's not a sport that involves a ball, therefore it's not going to be number 3, it's not going to be je jouais, but it's going to be number 6. Je faisais au judo. D, beaucoup de temps libre. Les temps libres it's free time. So this is J'avais beaucoup de temps libre. I used to have lots of free time. Au zoo avec ma classe. So talking about something to do with the zoo, and it's going to be j'allais au zoo. I used to go to the zoo. Dans une chorale. Now, chorale looks like a word in English which is choral or chorus. If you sing in a chorus, you're part of a choir. And the word chorale in French means a choir. So this is je chantais dans une chorale. And the last one, à cache-cache pendant la récréation. Cache-cache is a game. And la récréation is break time. So it's going to be je jouais à cache-cache pendant la récréation. Really good work then. Let's have a look at this. This is a reading activity that I'm going to ask you to do. So we've been looking at some really good techniques for how to address reading activities. In a moment, I'm going to read it to you. But remember, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to think, first of all, what words do I already know in here? Then, from the words that you're really not sure of, pick a few of those to look up. Remember, don't translate whole sentences because you won't be able to do that. But if you're looking up key words, it will help you identify and remember what they are for the next time you see them. Let me read it to you now. Nathalie. À l'école primaire, je faisais de la natation avec ma classe. J'allais à la piscine en ville tous les vendredis. Antoine. J'étais très timide à l'école primaire. Pendant la récréation, je ne jouais pas avec les autres enfants. Je n'étais pas très heureux. Camille. Je faisais du théâtre et je participais à des spectacles. Je n'étais pas timide. Fleur. Quand j'étais à l'école primaire, j'étais membre de l'équipe de foot. Je jouais au basket et au tennis. Jacques. J'aimais bien mon école primaire. J'allais souvent au parc et j'adorais le dessin. So pause this now. And before we start looking at how to go about the reading activity, you are thinking, what words do I know? What 5 to 8 words do I need to look up? Okay, so hopefully you've had a chance to look up the words that you need to. Let's have a look at exactly how you're going to go about doing this reading. We've talked about this before, so I'm just going to go through it quickly with you. You're going to read through the sentences on the left-hand side of your screen, and you're going to pick the key words that you need to look for in the French text to help you find the answer. So it says, who wasn't shy at primary school? Now, most of them mention primary school. They're all talking about primary school. But the key word that you need to find is shy. So you need to find who is talking about being shy, and you'll notice that the word before it is wasn't. So you're looking for a negative with the word shy. Pause this now, have a go at those questions, and then we'll go through the answers. Okay, so who wasn't shy at primary school? It's Camille. I've not written out the whole of her name, but you'll notice here she says je n'étais pas timide. N'était pas is the negative, you've got the ne and the pas, and the word timide means shy. Who played in the football team? And that is Fleur. J'étais membre de l'équipe de foot. And the key words that you would have been looking for there would have been football and team. Who didn't play with other children? And the answer is Antoine. Je ne jouais pas avec les autres enfants. Remember the word enfant looks a bit like the word for infant, and therefore is children. Who often went to the park? That is Jacques. J'allais souvent au parc. Souvent being the word that means often. Who went swimming with their class? And that is Nathalie. Je faisais de la natation avec ma classe. Who was in school plays? And that is Camille. Je participais à des spectacles. And who used to love art? We've got Jacques. J'adorais le dessin. Great work then, Year 10. We're going to have a look a little bit closer then about this imperfect tense. So like I said earlier, it's talking about how something used to be. And we're going to look at how this tense works so that you can then recognise it and potentially even use it in your own writing. But today's lesson is just about being able to recognise it. We're going to look at an example of two verbs that you already know. You know how to say I like, which is j'aime, and you know how to say j'aimais, which is I used to like. Look at those two verbs in French. What has changed to go from I like to I used to like? Hopefully what you've noticed is that this E has become AIS. So when we want to put a verb into the imperfect and say I used to do something, that's exactly what we do. Instead of saying I play, je joue, to make it I used to play, you take that E away and you add AIS. And then it becomes I used to play. I want you to have a go now with these verbs that are on the screen. What you're doing is you're taking off the E and adding AIS. Think about what they then become in English as well. So where je joue was I play, je jouais is I used to play. Pause this now and have a go at that activity. Let's have a look at these answers then. So je parle becomes je parlais. No E anymore, but we've got that AIS. And that's I used to speak. For I listen, j'écoutais. I used to listen. J'habite, meaning I live. J'habitais. I used to live. Je chante. I sing. Je chantais. Je visite. I visit becomes je visitais. I used to visit. Now hopefully that's not too complicated. It is a couple of steps to remember, and if you think, oh, I'm not too sure about this, what I would recommend is I would pause this screen now, and these bits over here I would write down along with some notes as to how you've done this, because then you will remember it and you'll be able to look back at it. Let's have a look then at a reading. Now the objective today was about reading texts and understanding the difference between what school is like and what school used to be like. This is similar to an activity that you might get in an exam. We're going to break it down and we're going to look at another way of addressing a reading. What you're going to have to do is you're going to have to read this through and then decide if the phrases on the left hand side are true or false. I'll read the question part to you now, which is here. Morgan parle de son école. Lise les phrases et notez si les phrases sont vraies ou faux, ou pas mentionnées. So you're reading it through. Morgane is talking about her school. Read the phrases and decide if they are true, false, or not mentioned. Remember, if you have a true or false activity and it is explained in French and you've got V, F and PM in brackets, you must respond with V, F or PM. You could not put T for true because it would not be marked as correct because you've not responded in the correct language. Okay, that's really important to remember. Let's have a look at how I would expect you to go about this then. I would expect you to look first of all at these true or false sentences. What we need to do is we need to work out what they mean to make sure that we understand them. There's going to be quite a lot of text boxes on these slides. Follow as I go along, but pause it if you need to write anything down, because it's important that you've got these notes. So, let's look at this first one. Morgan a beaucoup de copains au collège. We need to decide what are the key words in this phrase that mean that we will be able to check is this phrase true or false. I've circled beaucoup, copain and collège. I want you now to just put a note, number 1. I want you to write down those 3 words or copy out the whole sentence and think, do I know what these words mean? So let's see what these words mean then together. Beaucoup is a lot. Copains are friends, and collège is secondary school. What you've got now is without having to translate the whole phrase, you might not necessarily need to do that. You know that this first phrase that you're working out if it's true or false is going to be something about Morgan having lots of friends at secondary school. Let's look at the next one then. Elle mangeait bien à l'école. Keywords we need to know are manger and à l'école. Again, pause this. What do you think those words mean? So, manger, you'll notice it's got this AIT ending. It's not AIS because we're not talking about I anymore, but we're talking about she. So therefore it becomes AIT, and it's she used to eat. Or she ate. Next one, à l'école. This is school. So this is talking about school up to probably about year 4. L'école refers to a younger part of school as opposed to secondary school. Let's have a look at the third phrase now. I want you first of all to pause and think, what are the key words that I need to know to work out is this phrase going to be true or false? So the key words I've circled for you to understand what the phrase means so that we can verify if it's true or false are beaucoup, travail and collège. We've already seen 2 of those. Beaucoup is a lot, travail is work, and collège is secondary school. Again, we're going to do the same with Morgan aime les maths. Keywords that you need to know to be able to work out if this is true or false are aime and maths, likes and maths. Tous les étudiants font attention en classe. Tous, attention. Oh, sorry, I thought there were 3. So the key things that we need to know are, what does this to mean? Because this might trip us up. And font attention, we know that en classe is in class, but these 2 bits here the meaning could alter whether this is true or false. So tout is all, and font attention is to pay attention. And let's look at this last one then. Morgan s'entend bien avec ses professeurs. S'entendre and professeur are our 2 keywords. We know the word s'entendre from the first module, so it's thinking back quite a way now, and it means to get on well with. And professeur are teachers. What you have now done in annotating or writing these notes onto the question paper, you have got yourself a bit of a key to check, okay, I'm reading something here about how many friends Morgan has at school, and I know exactly what I am expecting to be looking for in that text. You've decoded it to work out, okay, here is what I am checking with the text. And it's an important thing to do before you start a true or false activity. Once we've done that, we can now have a look at the actual reading. And I'm going to tell you to go about the reading in the same way that I would any reading. We're going to read it through together. You're going to pause this. You're going to think about the words that you already know. If you're able to print this out, I would tell you to highlight the words that you already know. And then we're going to pick 5 to 8 words that we don't know and we need to look up. The more we practice this, the better we will get at working out what words are without using a dictionary, because you will start to see, I'm used to seeing this word, I'm used to looking it up, I remember what it means. Or you'll see that you know most of the sentence and therefore can work out what those other words mean. Let's read it through together. À l'école primaire, j'avais beaucoup d'amis et c'était très amusant. Pendant la journée, j'ai joué avec mes amis et j'adorais le dessin et l'anglais car c'était intéressant. D'autre part, je n'aimais pas les maths ou le théâtre car c'était difficile et ennuyeux. Surtout, un grand problème était la cantine. La nourriture n'était pas bonne et je détestais le pause déjeuner à cause de ça. Cependant, au collège, c'est très stressant. On travaille trop et on n'a pas assez de temps pour faire des loisirs. Il est souvent très difficile de travailler bien en classe parce que beaucoup d'élèves n'écoutent pas le prof et ils ne font pas attention. Ça m'énerve. Heureusement, les professeurs sont très gentils. Ils s'intéressent aux élèves et ils nous écoutent. C'est bien. Pause this now. Go through what words do you know, what are your keywords that you're going to look up. So here are the keywords that I thought people might find a bit difficult. We've got pendant, journée, la nourriture, travail, écoute, and heureusement. We're just going to go through what those ones mean now. Pendant is during, and if you weren't sure of that, or if that wasn't one of the words that you highlighted, do make sure you make a note of it now. Oh. La journée is the day. So pendant la journée is during the day. La nourriture is the food. Travailler is to work. Écouter is to listen. And heureusement is fortunately. Now we've got a bank of vocabulary for the reading text, and we've got our coded true or false phrases. That should mean that now you can have a go at this reading. Remember, the official advice from examiners is to make sure that even if you are not sure, you give the question a go, put a guess in if you're not sure, because you will not get a point for a blank answer, but you could potentially guess it right. Pause this now and have a go at this reading. Let's have a look at these answers then. Morgan a beaucoup de copains au collège. That one is pas mentionné. She doesn't talk about her friends at secondary school. She does talk about them at her primary school, but you'll notice this question is about secondary school. Elle mangeait bien à l'école. This one is faux. She said un grand problème était la cantine. La nourriture n'était pas bon. So it was not good. Morgan a beaucoup de travail à faire au collège. That is vrai. She says, on travaille trop. We work too much. Morgan aime les maths. That is faux. Tous les étudiants font attention en classe. That is also faux. She mentions that students do not listen and therefore do not pay attention. And Morgan s'entend bien avec ses professeurs. That is vrai. It's in this bottom box here. So hopefully that's given you a bit of an idea as to how to go about a reading activity like this. And we're going to be practicing lots of them because I think it's important. So if you're not quite there with it yet, do not worry. What I would like you to do though now is an exit task, which is going to be a quiz. Again, the links should be underneath this video in your Go for Schools pack, and if you can't access it, please contact Miss Price. Have a great week, Year 10, and let me know if there's anything that you're not sure of. I'm happy to help you over email. Merci et au revoir.